pleasure to introduce to you a fellow Australian, and he's Mr. Kevin Francis. Mr. Kevin Francis holds a master's degree in counselling psychology and has been a secondary school teacher in South Australia for 43 years. He has been a Sai devotee since 1980, and in this time has served as youth coordinator, SSE and SSEHV teacher. Mr. Kevin Francis has organized many workshops on Swami's teachings and everyday practice, and has also given talks in Australia and at birthday celebrations in Puttaparthi. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Kevin Francis.
Sairam to my Sai family, whatever position you may hold in the organisation. Swami once said of teachers, there are three types of teachers: those who complain, those who explain, and those who inspire. I've done a lot of complaining. I've done a lot of explaining. With Swami's grace today, as I lay my life at his feet, may I inspire you. This is about my personal transformation, so this is about the path of love. I'm going to share a little bit of my family history, and hopefully it might touch you, it might serve to inspire you. From an early age, I believed that I lived in a family which was very lacking in love, or at least obvious displays of it. I came from a broken home at a time when that wasn't very common. From the age of 4, I seriously and genuinely believed that I had been abandoned by my mother and was hated by my father. The consequence of this were that my family life was one of a series of regular physical and emotional abuse. I'm now very nervous. I must confess that despite these parental shortcomings, I was very close to my brother and my sisters, and I often found myself, as my role even very young, between my aggressive father and my sisters, which resulted in many occasions of me actually being physically knocked unconscious by my father, and on one occasion being hospitalised. I didn't understand this because my father was also the town Father Christmas, and everybody else but our family saw him as a loving, kind, generous man. When I was one day short of my 14th birthday, I seriously was wondering what was my life about. I contemplated doing away with myself on my birthday. That was 50 years ago. As I lay in bed that night, mentally rehearsing what I was going to do, a figure in white with an enormous halo of hair appeared in my room. I hid under the covers. I closed my eyes. I tried to look away. This figure simply did not disappear. He came up to me, stood at the side of my bed, touched me. I felt infinite bliss and peace. And he said, "Everything will be all right." It was like a vision of an angel. From that time, the beatings did not stop. But my attitude and my perception changed, obviously by the grace of Swami, who I didn't know was Swami at the time, because I had the ability to stand outside of my body and witness what was happening with complete detachment. I was very smart at school. I had the opportunity to go to university. My father didn't like that idea, so I was thrown out of the family. I went to Sydney. There was one person in Sydney that I knew. He was an ex-teacher of mine. He is also a Sai devotee. And he took me under his wing almost as a foster child. For the first time in my life, I understood what love was. During that time, I also met an extraordinary young woman who was compassion and serenity personified. Her name's Lorraine. She's not in Puttaparthi at the moment because she is still a little bit sick, but with Swami's grace, she's working through that. We have been together with Swami's grace for 46 years. She also came from a very challenging background, and she was a deeply religious person. And it was her journey, not my journey, her journey that introduced me to Swami, because she read two fantastic books, The Holy Man and the Psychiatrist and My Barbara and I, and she shared those with me. I was very impressed, and not long after this was in about 1979, we went to our first bhajan. I wasn't actually attracted to Swami as an avatar, I was attracted to him as an educator. And so for years, I followed his teachings in education. And then in 1986, with the grace of Swami, we were invited to a birthday bhajan at Albert and Janine Burrell's house in Whyalla in South Australia. Albert and Janine, as you know, are very devoted Sai devotees, and it was a great blessing for us to go there. And during this particular bhajan, Swami appeared in front of me in white. I had never seen a photo of Swami in white. This was quite amazing. And he put his hand on me again, and I felt that exact same peace. And he said to me, "See, did I not tell you that everything would be okay?" This is personal transformation through love. Further to this, I now realise that when I was 14, it was Swami who came to me. In 1994, we were graced by our youngest son, who at the time was 19 years of age, and he'd been through EHV, he'd been through SSE and Balvika's classes and all of those things. He approached his mother on Mother's Day and said, "Mum, when's your next holiday?" And she'd just had one. So she said, "Well, not for a while, Jake." "Why?" And he said, "Because I want to send you and Dad to Puttaparthi." So that Christmas we came to Puttaparthi. I had no idea that it was an honour to be in the first row of darshan. It just happened. And there I was in first row of darshan. And the very first darshan that I had with Swami, can you imagine? We're all dressed in white. We don't have name tags. There is this amazing figure in front of you in an orange robe, massive amounts of hair, comes straight up to you in the men's side, and what he said to me, I'll never forget. He said, "Kevin, you have finally come." Was I right? Did I not tell you that everything would be okay? It was. I'm now certain that Swami is an avatar, a God of unconditional love. One of the graces that he also blessed me is the ability to see auras of people. And that day I saw Swami's aura. Swami's aura was pure pink, which is, for those people who understand auras, the colour of love. I've seen the Dalai Lama's aura. It fills a room. Swami is extended to the horizon. Unconditional, pure love. In concluding, Swami has actually saved my life from certain death on at least 5 occasions and made it very clear. He's also saved my son's lives. And I was in Puttaparthi on one occasion where I rung my son at home. He wasn't supposed to be at home, he was supposed to be camping, and he'd been caught in a bushfire. And they'd had a terrible accident in this bushfire. A Caterpillar tractor, one of those things with big blades that cuts fire breaks in Australia, had come round the corner and had taken the top of their car off level with the doors. There were 4 boys in that car, not a scratch. In darshan, I said to Swami, "Thank you for saving my son and his friends." And he came back and he said, "Kevin, it is my duty and privilege. Good boys, very nasty accident. I could not speak or meet anybody for the next 4 days. That is the love of Swami. I have been so blessed to be part of Swami's family. I hope I do him justice with my life. I hope I inspire. Let me finish on 2 things. I teach psychology at a secondary school in Adelaide. Over the years, I've probably had maybe several thousand students who've gone through my lessons. If you were to ask any of those students, tell me something about Mr. Francis. I don't mention Swami's name in class. I would guarantee that 90% of those students would say, Mr. Francis, oh, he's easy to sum up. Help ever, hurt never. So in finishing, what is love? Well, Swami also led me to a fantastic American psychologist whose name is Jerry Jampolsky. He wrote a book called Love is Letting Go of Fear. One of my favourite bhajans from Swami is Why Fear When I Am Here. This is Jerry Jampolsky's most famous poem, which rings pure Baba to me, and I'd like to finish this presentation on this poem. Whatever the question, love is the answer. Whatever the problem, love is the answer. Whatever the fear, love is the answer. Whatever the illness, love is the answer. Whatever the pain, love is the answer. Love is the answer no matter what, because love is all there is. Om Sri Sathya Ram Namaha.